Everybody out there, we are live and under the influence here on AsgardRadio.com. We are talking today with Anthony from Dangerous Landslide, and I had never heard of these guys before. I got the information from mutual contact here in the industry, and I told myself this morning, shit, I gotta listen to these guys. So I got a general idea of who they are when they come in, and hang out and start talking. And I need to know, who the fuck is that Ozzy sounding motherfucker singing for you guys?
Well, first it's Generation Landslide, and
My bad. I'm
oh,
sorry.
no, that's all right. But we're dangerous as it is. The Ozzy guy singing is actually me.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, like, I listened to Little Miss Lonely this morning, and I'm like, that sounds like fucking Ozzy singing. What the hell?
Uh, yeah. You're not the first one who said that. Everybody has different views of what it sounds like, I guess.
Well, I thought it sounded good. I enjoyed it. So, how did Generation Landslide come about?
It came about many years ago, and it just kind of fell by the wayside. And then in the last so many years, I decided to revive it. For a little bit there, it was actually a cover band in Ohio, and so I came back to Las Vegas, where I'm from, and I decided to change it from a cover band to an original band. So
Oh, right on.
yeah.
Be honest, you're from Henderson.
No, actually, I've never lived in Henderson in my entire life. I've been there a million times, but never lived there.
That everyone I've ever met that says they're from Las Vegas is actually from Henderson.
Yeah, that's like I guess you would call it the outskirts.
Yeah,
So when I,
suburb.
yeah. So when I was growing up here, way back in, in the 70s and 80s, Las Vegas was the middle part, where all the hotels and all of that kind of stuff is.
Yeah.
Henderson, Henderson was barely anything at all. And now they've built everything around the city so big that everybody lives outside the city, if you want to call it that. So yeah.
Outside the Las Vegas metropolitan area.
What's that?
Outside the Las Vegas metropolitan area.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. I mean, because everybody has mixed feelings, obviously, about Las Vegas. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people,
I love it
uh,
enough that I know to stay away from it.
right. Right. That, I've heard that too. It's like, oh man, I just love it. Yeah, I'm not going there.
So, what's your guys' musical influences?
um, I would say it's really hard to say what it is. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff like Kiss, Grand Funk Railroad, Sweet, just a
There's one you
lot
don't
of
hear every day.
right. And that's a lot of my influences. I wrote all the songs, and I was looking for just different kind of material that I could really enjoy uh, playing. You know, so a lot of the songs and a lot of my influences are those kinds of bands. James Gang, there's stuff like that on there. There's just
Okay,
a
70s
lot.
rock.
Yeah, but it's got more of that modern-ish sound. I think so. Um, it's hard to sound like the old '70s because they don't have that kind of recording equipment and that old producers and type of stuff where it just sounds like, wow, man, this is going to sound
It's
great on vinyl.
it sounds raw.
Right, right,
Nowadays, everything, if you ask me, a lot of shit just sounds way too clean.
right. It's processed. A lot of digital process stuff. the stuff, yeah, that I tried to write has more of an older feel to it. So
Okay.
yeah, I tried to get rid of some of the process.
Right on. Now, what's your like when you guys did Little Miss Lonely? What was the idea behind the song? Where do you go when you write music mentally?
It depends what my mood is. For that particular song, it's a combination of Aerosmith's Chiquita and Lightning Strikes, music wise. It's got a little bit of, you say Ozzy, but it's got a little more like Paul Stanley ish type of Kiss. And just it's about a relationship gone sour.
I, I,
Like
I, I see. I say Ozzy because I hear it in the vocals, the way you sing.
right. I'm phrasing it long, letting it hold out longer to give it a different feel than what the music is doing. The music is a riff. It's more riffy, and so I didn't want to go along with the riff, so I sing uh, more longer parts. Yeah,
Okay. So how many are there in the band?
there's four of us.
Okay, good.
Uh, yeah, two guitar players, a bass player, and a drummer.
Okay. You play guitar as well?
I do. Yes.
Now, how old were you and what made you first pick up a guitar?
Oh well, I started actually on drums, and I played guitar, but not of any caliber. So I played drums. I started in a Las Vegas band with a guy by the name of Mark Slaughter.
I know
Um,
him. That's
yeah,
my buddy.
yeah, we played in a high school band together, and then a little bit after high school, um, and then um, and then I ended up playing in other bands in California, and then I got hooked up with Mark Ferrari, who just came out of Kiel, and joined that band, and that became Cold Sweat. So I've been playing drums all the way through that, and I'm thinking roughly 1990. By the time 1991 came, um, me and two guys from Black and Blue and another friend of mine decided we wanted to do a Kiss tribute band. So that's when I made the actual switch from drums to guitar, and
Okay.
then just been playing guitar ever since then, and drums. So I have them both actually.
Okay. Now, a lot of drummers I talk to that also play guitar don't actually know how to play guitar.
Well, you might have another one sitting in front of you now.
Because even like David Grohl don't know how to
Sure.
play guitar. So
He
he
just
he straight up says when he looks at his guitar, he looks at it like a drum kit.
That's interesting.
This is your bass, this is your tom, this is your hi-hat, your snare, your crash, and that's
Sure.
how he plays guitar. I just
Um,
I thought that was
yeah,
really interesting.
yeah, that's very interesting. I think for me, where I utilize that is playing drums for all those years, your rhythm, the groove of something really is probably what he's trying to get at. Like when he hears something, just like I do, if I come across something or hear something, I'm going to hear the beat of it. I'm going to hear the groove of it, the vibe of it, but more than like, there's other actual guitar player, hero guitar players that don't have the groove or feel, and they got to hope that they get the right players to translate the riff that they're trying to play.
Right.
Um, and this goes back to someone like, say, Eddie Van Halen. The great thing about Eddie Van Halen is that him and his brother, he was a drummer first too.
Yes.
So everything he wrote, you could hear the rhythm, you can hear the groove of everything that he was trying to get across. So I think Dave Grohl's the same way. I'm that same way. I hear what the drum beat will be, and this is where we can go with it, and stuff like that, as opposed to going, hey, I have this riff, I don't know what to do with it. That's the difference. I guess.
Now you
Oh,
brought up
yeah.
Van Halen, so I'll ask Sammy or Dave.
You know, that's a tough question. I wouldn't want to be one of those that has to pick. I think they both did great for what it was. I think the original Van Halen was created the original Van Halen. That's you can't replace that. But I think the band was changing by the time they got Sammy Hagar. So you're not going to get the same somebody get me a doctor and stuff like that. You're going to get more I don't know what you would call it. Their music changed. So he was the right guy that fit that direction where they were going, at that point, I thought.
Right. Well, and I always say I like them both. Uh,
Mhm.
David was a hell of a showman, a hell of a performer, and I think Sammy's vocals accented Eddie's guitar work a little bit better.
Sure. I totally agree with that. Absolutely.
And besides, it wasn't their band; it was Alex and Eddie's band.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It goes all the way back to the two brothers, the two drummer brothers, and one starts playing guitar. Okay, we're gonna do this and gonna do that, and they find the right guys, and then they become successful. And then, you know, I thought Sammy Hagar was a great choice. It was just they were going in a different direction. That's all you. So
Yeah.
you can't compare it really. I don't think, but that's just me.
Yeah, that's like Black Sabbath going with Ronnie James Dio and then the other guy for a little bit. It never could compare. Or
Right,
or
right.
and I'm sorry to say, even this new Pantera they got going around. I mean, I like what they're doing. I don't think they should use that name. And as far as new music, it was never Phil and Rex's band. It was Diamond Vinny. So
Right. Once again, it's the same scenario. I totally agree. Between that one and the Black Sabbath too, you can't compare it, but everybody wants to continue playing music and make a living, and what are you going to do? It's those are the members that are in the band, so they're not going to sit and go, nah, we're done. They didn't, not like Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin stopped. They were done. They knew they were done. You can't replace them,
yep.
but they ventured to other things.
Yeah. Robert Plant and Jimmy Page both went and had great solo careers.
Right. And
Uh,
then they had a little thing together, the unleaded thing and
yeah, the Page and Plant.
right. So I mean, it just I don't know. It's discrepancy, I guess. It's your own opinion and where you want to take things and what you want to do with them, pretty much.
All right. So, where where do you want to go with? I keep wanting to say dangerous.
I know that sounds like it fits it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Where do you want to go with Generation Landslide? What's next for you guys?
Um, just to keep playing, we want to play and just I don't know, do a second record, and just keep enjoying what we're doing. I actually enjoy playing the material and playing in the band. It's not it's not work for me. It's not a job. Like, some of the bands, you're in it and you enjoy some of it, but you don't enjoy all of it. So we just want to just keep playing and wherever it goes is wherever it goes. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
All right. How'd you guys get the name Generation Landslide?
It came from an old Alice Cooper song.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah. On the Billion Dollar Babies album, there's a song on there called Generation Landslide.
Yep.
And it's like a hidden, it's a great album track. And the minute I heard it, I've known it since I was a teenager and stuff, but it's just got a great ring to it, even in today's society, all the generations, whether it's music or just people or society, everything is just like on a landslide. It's all over the place. So
All right.
it yeah.
Yeah. speaking of the $1 Billion Babies album, it came. The album back in the day came with the double-sided $1 billion bill poster.
Sure.
That's
Love it.
actually hanging on the wall in the other room, signed by Alice and Calico.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
very cool.
I
For
love
that.
Alice Cooper. He's just like the nicest guy.
Yep. I
Uh,
totally agree.
he had his bar in Phoenix, Arizona, and I sat in there one day, and I knew he was in the building, and I waited for him to come out, and, hey, what's going on, Vincent? Can I buy you a drink? And he looked at me, and he says, yeah, you know this is my bar, right? I says, yeah, and I also know you don't drink, so let me say I bought Alice Cooper a Dr. Pepper. And
That's great. I
we,
love that place. Are you from Arizona?
I lived out there briefly in 2007.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I used to go there for a little time. When I lived out there. The other story that I have with him is I ended up knowing people that went to church with him. So they invited me to church, and sure enough, I'm sitting or standing at the time next to not only him but Jerry Colangelo, who was the owner of the Suns, and it was just like, wow, how cool is this? I'm going to church with Alice Cooper. This is great.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, and he's really big into his beliefs, and he
Sure.
donates or volunteers down at the local soup kitchen there in Arizona.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
just
he's
like
great.
like I said, all around nicest guy.
Yep, I agree. Very cool.
So let me ask this, and I love to ask. I got two questions that I love asking people. First one is, if you were stuck on a deserted island and you only had one album that you could listen to, what album would you want to listen to?
Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti. I I I could have named probably a half a dozen or more other ones that front to back, Aerosmith rocks, and I could go down the line, but for some reason, Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti, I don't, I can't explain it. I can never, ever, ever get tired of it, ever. It's the weirdest thing to me.
Oh yeah. Well, we all have that album that we could just put on repeat and never turn off.
Right. And the good thing about that one is that it's a double record. So you get a little bit more bonus.
Yeah,
A little more bang.
I'm trying to remember. That was the sixth album.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Correct.
Yeah, okay.
The double with Kashmir and Trampled Underfoot and all of the other incredible songs that were on it.
Yes. If you could sit down and talk to anyone throughout history, living or dead, and just pick their brain over dinner, who would you want to sit down and chat with?
Paul McCartney.
And what would you want to talk about?
That's a good question. I never thought what it would be after I said that. He was one of the people that, I don't know, since day one, there's just something about him. He's just this magical individual of a human being that he can't, I don't know, he can't write a bad song. He can't do any wrong. He plays every instrument. He sings amazing. His knowledge, his history, everything that he's been through, Beatle-wise, just everything. I wouldn't even know where to begin. But I know it would be him, and I just would probably sit and go, and not know what to say.
Get all Chris Farley. Remember that time when you were with the Beatles?
Exactly.
That was awesome.
I still to this day, I think about that there's probably a lot of people that go, yeah, I would never do that, but it's true. That Chris Farley thing, even though that everybody makes fun of it and it's funny and you laugh, what would you say?
It's true. You geek out.
Right.
And true story here. Back in the day when I was out in California, we were walking down Rodeo Drive, and and I literally bumped into Jim Carrey, and I geeked out and went super fan. I'm like, oh my god, fucking Fire Marshal Bill, dude. Let me tell you something. And straight up, one of the coolest guys. He looked at me. He's like, hey man, calm down. Put his hand on my shoulder. He's like, I'm just a human. I'm like, I know, but you're Jim fucking Carrey, dude. You're the rubber man,
Right.
dude. You've been making me laugh all my life. He's like, yeah, I got a cool ass job, but I'm just a person, buddy.
Right. But how cool would that be? One of the first things I would say to him is, you're a weird guy, Ace.
Right? But it was one of those, like, just okay. Every time I get to meet someone, even like I got to meet Ozzy, and in the back of my head, he's just a person. Yeah,
Right.
but he's fucking Ozzy.
Right. But you don't think about that when it's happening. I mean, you're standing 2 feet from, you know, power, influence. Yeah, they're just normal human beings, but the impact and the influence that, is
Yeah.
just wow. You sit and go, okay, they're normal, but how cool is this? Like, one example is I think like a week or 2 weeks ago, and I was out with Mark Ferrari. It was his birthday, and some of the people that got invited to this place is, different people I knew and everything. And one of them was Frank Domino, the singer of Angel. And to a lot of people, they probably don't even know, who. But to me, I knew exactly who Angel was from day one all the way through. And just to sit next to the singer of Angel, to me, was more powerful than, I don't know. I can't. I don't have any other example of what other people feel, but to me, certain people have certain impacts on me. So when I get to meet them or talk with them, wow, I kind of sit and, wow, this is really happening. This is cool.
Right.
So,
Oh, and that's one of the reasons I enjoy doing this. I mean, I get to sit there and talk to people, and it's like, like a duck on the surface, I look calm, but in the back of my mind, it's just like, am I really? I mean, pinch me. Am I awake?
right, that's cool shit. I have to admit.
Yeah, but you got it better. You get to go after the show backstage to the bus, whatever.
Yeah, well, um, yeah, sometimes.
So
Back
I'm
in the old Back in the old days, it was great. We went on a tour with Dio for a little over a month or so, and I'm telling you, it was crazy just being in his presence, and it was awesome.
oh, dude, about a year ago, I was over in West Virginia for my day job, and I went outside to the hotel, and they were listening to Dio, and I'm like, cool, Dio. He's on tour? Half the people looked at me and they're like, he's dead, right? I said, yeah,
Russ,
but he's still on tour. His hologram goes around on tour.
right? Absolutely, right. With the heaven and hell,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's cool that those guys do that. I really do.
It is, and I guess it's a full, like, life size. You're actually watching Dio on stage.
That's great. That's
So you said you're hoping to get a second album in the works. Have you started writing on it, or?
I have. Yep. I pretty much have it all done. It's been recorded. It's in the mixing stage. So we'll see where it goes or what happens with it. So I think we still have a little bit of life of this album still. So I don't want to go too much onto that, but hopefully it'll come out as well.
Right on. Where can we find you on social media? Where can people pick up a copy of your current album?
The album actually it's streaming everywhere. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Apple. And our social media, it's just really just Facebook and the videos. We have 3 videos for 3 of the songs on the record, and that's on YouTube. And um, it's just kind of like that. It's not a big conglomerate, thing like that to where you can um, get all sorts of things stuff, but you can still get information from Generation Landslide on Facebook. It has everything that everybody needs.
Okay. And they got, videos for Love and Pain, Little Miss Lonely, and Feel the Sensation on YouTube.
Right.
And
there's, yep.
Like I said, folks, check it out. It's got a nice classic sound. Dude sings. He sounds like Ozzy singing, so. Sings like Ozzy, but he doesn't talk like him, thankfully.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
it. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate hanging out with you today.
Awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking to Anthony from Generation Landslide, and I got those 3 songs I'm going to put into the rotation on the station.
Very cool.
So
awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I do appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, brother. Thanks for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony from Generation Landslide. I'm the one and only